So I want to talk about, I'm in an organization, I'm in an enterprise. There's probably four or five things that I'm actively doing to be secure, right? One is, I'm swiping myself into the building. I am, then I'll go probably type a password. I'll be, probably securing information, but to people in my department. So some sort of role-based access control that's happening, right? And I'll probably, respond to like a phishing attack on email and do that. But what is, in the same way, like we all go and grab a cup of coffee and it's subconscious, what are the subconscious security things or the habits and behaviors that are missing in enterprise workers or people that need to be there? Because you've talked a lot about, you know, don't. It's almost like don't do security, be secure. So what does that look like?
And if can I make another plug for my book? Go read Why CISOs Fail, because this stuff is laid out in a very concise manner there. So here's the thing. This is a great topic. First of all, you can never trust your users. I don't care how trustworthy they are. That's why, you may have like a kick-ass IT department with a lot of resources and all that stuff. And the CFO is still going to hold that really essential information, personally on their own laptop and print it on a printer that is only dedicated to them, that's connected only to that laptop. And they're going to keep it in the inside breast pocket of their, suit, because they don't trust this stuff naturally, right? It's a good instinct that they have developed, knowing that once it's on an IT drive somewhere, it's compromisable, right? And so you, even in the way you posed the question, already told me the answer, right? You said, I already, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know that there's certain things I just don't want to tell to too many people, right? You already have an internal mental process that guides you to make the right decisions. The mismatch is that the typical employee in a company doesn't care and doesn't have the insight, right? Which is why they shouldn't be exposed to information that puts the company at risk. So one of the things I always say, never trust your workforce. I know it's a terrible thing to say to anybody. From a use of technology perspective, just assume everybody is Gen Pop, right? Nobody's gonna, doesn't matter how many awareness courses you're going to put them through. And it's an analogy I used recently in another webcast I was invited for. I have this issue, this psychological mental block around cast iron pans, right? I once ruined one because I think I used soap on it, and you're not allowed to use soap on cast iron pans, right? And from now on, I'm afraid of cast iron pans. I will not clean them. I will walk away from them, no matter how many times my sweetheart will show me how to clean one of these things safely. I'm just too afraid of them. I cannot retain the information of how to properly clean one of these things. She's shown it to me a dozen times. I'm not generally a stupid person. I'm not generally incapable of learning. Can't do it. I have a mental block. Well, guess what? Your typical employee has a mental block around security around us. Why? Because we've been feeding them this crap for a long time. We've been telling them that everything they do is bad. We've been showing them all the examples. We've been chasing them with fake emails in order to prove to them that they don't know how to resist phishing. I mean, we've been training them to think that security is a horrible thing that they don't want to do. And then we expect them to learn and retain how to behave better and more securely. And yet this very same employee that cannot retain basic behavioral security hygiene, if they have a folder on their personal Dropbox with pictures of their new puppies, I don't care how many controls you're going to have in your corporate environment. They will figure out a way around it to show the puppies to their coworkers. They will become a technology genius at that very moment. They will spend an entire morning Googling how to do this. They will teach themselves very intricate ways to bypass security controls so that they can show those pictures to their coworkers. It happens all the time. So my answer to this is, first, stop pretending. If it doesn't matter to somebody, it doesn't matter to somebody, and it won't matter to them no matter how many times you're going to tell them that it should matter to them. It's just not going to. So make the assumption that that's not going to happen, and stop. It is your role as the information owner to go through this mental process, because, hey, hold on, this is something I feel more sensitive about. By the way, this is also why I don't believe in most data classification schemes, because in my opinion, there's really only three types of data, right? The stuff that's public and everybody knows about, the stuff that's really confidential, and the person who owns that data will know this because they naturally will go through the mental process that you just described. And then everything else is what I call internal use only, which generally, some people will know, some will not. Maybe not everybody should know, but if they happen to know, it's not going to be a big deal and what have you. 99% of corporate information falls into this category. And it is reflected in the reality on the ground, no matter how many times we're going to say, oh my God, this report has the word confidential on it, so it should not have been disclosed to Department 37. Guess what? It was disclosed to Department 37 and the company did not suffer any major harm from it. So we get overly zealous with this crap. And there's no reason to. I'm telling you, an executive that is in possession of truly sensitive information will know that it's truly sensitive information. An information owner that has access to something like that will naturally know where to go with it. It's just human.